Good morning.
Welcome to Monday Morning Catch.
Or Monday morning wide receiver. Depends how you want to play it. Or Monday morning wide out. Depends how you want to play it. You know what I'm saying? You can catch it. You can run it. You can throw it if you like me. You know what I'm saying?
If you picking up what we putting down, it's
You go
Monday
catch it.
Morning Catch.
I like it. I like it, buddy. Hey, fans, how about you guys out there? Let us know what it should be called, right? Get your popcorn ready segment. Get Monday morning catch, Monday morning wide out, Monday morning wide receiver. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know what you guys are thinking, right? We're going to bring you all our thought process on what went on this weekend in the NFL. Of course, we'll piggyback a little bit on last week on this whole AB podcast scenario. Him bad talking my host, my boy, my family member, T.O. I don't want to get into much of how you feel about it, right? I know that's a whole nother thing, right? Your personal feelings about it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, but it just bothers me how the perception of everybody out there thinks, okay, since he just said something, it's right about T.O. Like, how does that make you feel?
But it just came out of left field.
Right.
I don't understand. I mean, he just came out of nowhere with the statement about me talking about I'm 48 and, you know, at some point your body impairs. Like, bro, like, what does that have to do with anything that was going on with that podcast? So clearly I was on his mind and he wanted to just try to insert that into whatever they were discussing. I mean, prior to that, I thought the podcast, you know, I thought it was funny. You know, I sent you guys some clips from it because I ended up running across it. And, you know, a lot of things that he was saying, I thought made a lot of sense. Maybe, like I said, you know, once we discussed it last week, I never bashed him one time. I never really rushed to judgment or pass any type of judgment on anything that he had done, because I always said there's two sides or three sides to a story. I said I didn't condone his reaction to whatever transpired, but with that being said, I knew that had to be something that caused his reaction. So I didn't want to. I wanted to hear his side of the story before everybody jumped on the bandwagon like, oh, well, he's same old AB, and then they're starting to diagnose him with CTE and all this other good stuff. So at the end of the day, AB, I'm not the enemy, bro. I'm really not. At the end of the day, what you brought on yourself, that's on you. I have nothing to do with that. Yeah, I'm 48 and I can get down at 48. It doesn't make any difference. Age is nothing but a number for me. So who are you to say what I can't do? You even said it in your podcast. You even said it shortly after that. I can do whatever I feel like I want to do. All I got to do is all I have to do is be given the opportunity. So that's that on that.
There you go. I'm like, we gonna wrap it up because again, they just took over the news last week, and I was like, you know, we got the playoffs coming up. There's so much more to talk about than that saga. So I feel you, and thank you for wrapping that up. But talking about this weekend, had some great games. Of course, it ended the NFL season with the Chargers and the Raiders last night, right? Going to overtime, perfect way to end it. Unfortunately, right, our LA Chargers are not going to the playoffs, and the Raiders are. I think perfect scenario to me would have been those guys have a tie and both go to the playoffs, and then the Steelers would be out, which would be bad for Tomlin because I'm a Tomlin fan. But I think that's never happened before in NFL history, and it would never happen again.
I was actually, I would tell him because I didn't know that was a scenario that if that game ended in a tie, that it would have eliminated the Pittsburgh Steelers. And at some point, I was like, yo, could this really happen?
Right.
Could this really
when
happen?
We're going by 15. Like this, there's no way it's going to end up in a tie.
And I had started seeing some comments, you know, from some people said, oh, if this ends in a tie, it's rigged. The game is rigged, this, and that, and the other. I honestly, I didn't think the Raiders would pull it off. I just thought with, you know, Justin Herbert, the way that he's been playing all year, I thought they were going to pull it out, especially when you even think about the 4th and 9. Because I caught the game at the end, the 4th and 9 play that added a little bit of little suspense and dramatic little drama toward the end. I was like, yo, this play right here, this down and distance is their season is riding on this. And then he hit the over route with Williams. Man, that was a huge play to keep the chains moving. So man, I mean, that was a tough me being a player, and you understand, you being a player too. That's a tough way to lose going into overtime. And then, man, that's tough, man. You got to go through the whole offseason knowing that, man, we had it right here. It was within our grasp, and you end up losing by a field goal. That's tough.
Well, let me ask you this, right? When they tied with 0 seconds left, do you take that scenario out of overtime and say, yo, I trust my team. Why don't we go for 2 right here? What would, again, because that's what I was thinking at that point. You were down 15. You have all the momentum. There should be, every offensive coordinator should have that one play like, look, we've been saving this all year. We've set up everything. We set up the Raiders. We set up our whole conference. This one play, if they're going to do this, we know we're going here. Whatever it is, trick play or not trick play, you're at the 2-3 yard line. Can you get 2 yards to send your team to the playoffs?
As a player with confidence,
right?
I'm like, go for 2. But as a coach, you gotta there's a lot of consequences to your actions. If you go for 2 and your season is riding on this and you don't make it, when you go to that post game, you're gonna have to answer the piper. You know what I mean? And then on top of it, like I said, the owner, GM, like that's a lot of pressure, on that coach to make that call at that time. So honestly, that coach has to have the utmost confidence in his players to go for 2 at that particular time, especially playoff, like play in. You know what I mean? This is a playoff game to get you into the playoffs. Into
the show, right? Well, let me ask you this. If you have Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, do you go for 2 in that scenario? And not just, as much as we love Justin Herbert, I think he's an upcoming superstar.
Right, yeah, for sure. No, I think that's a great question. With those two individuals that you just mentioned, those are 2 great quarterbacks that can create. Obviously, like I said, game plan, offensive coordinator. I mean, they have to, like you said, you got to have that one in the bag, that one in the chamber. That's that one in the chamber that that's going to work. And so I don't know if he feels that his team was prepared or if they were even prepared for that. As you said, some teams, like I said, they have that one play. That if all fails, we're going to go to this, when needed. And I don't know if they were prepared or had something ready for that particular play at that time.
Well, let me ask you this. What would you have said to your offensive coordinator to convince them to go for 2 in that scenario? Like, because you can't just come over and say, hey, hey, I'm going to be open. Let's go for 2. Like, give me something specific you could have thought about at that moment. Like, I got him on 2 digs already, or I beat him on 2 slants. So let's, whatever that scenario, what would you have said to your offensive coordinator to convince him to go for 2 in that scenario?
I mean, sometimes things don't have to be said. Sometimes it's just that eye to eye contact. You know what I mean? It's that body language. You know what I mean? It's like you said. Sometimes it's momentum. If the crowd is behind you, like you said, you were down. The entire game, and the momentum, you're riding with that momentum. Sometimes you just got to roll the dice. And obviously, like I said, it depends on the personnel that you have as well. Like I said, who you got at receiver, who you have at quarterback. If everybody, if it's a timeout is called, you looking all your guys in the eye. Sometimes that's what coaches do. They're called timeout. They grab, they huddle up. He will look to try to assess to see, who's ready. You know what I mean? You got that eye.
And some people over there are nervous. Some people are like, right. Hey, I don't want that smoke.
Exactly.
And you know what's funny? I can hear Chris Carter coming to the sideline right now and telling him exactly what we should run, Brian Billick taking it into consideration, and then Brian Billick calling that play. Like Chris would have came up, look, I know they go bracket me. They go bring me safety down. The corners go play outside. They go have Moss on the back end. We go throw it to Moss. If that's not working, and Cunningham, you got to look left, and Jake Reed or Hatch, they go be over there. Like Chris would have broke the whole thing down in like 12 seconds, and then Brian Billick would have been like, okay, so we're going to go with doubles right, boom, 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 boom. I hear it he would have had the exact scenario. So
the only thing that I heard you say in there is you insert yourself in that play somewhere. That's the only thing.
I ain't scared of the moment, baby, because I ain't scared of the moment. You know what I'm saying? Give me the rock, coach.
But you're exactly right. I mean, that's the responsibility of being a number one. You know what I mean? Because you know that it's just like, everybody said it with basketball, the analogy with MJ or Kobe or LeBron, you know who's going to get the ball, you know what I mean, in that last second situation. Just like, MJ, when he got the ball, he threw the ball out to Kerr, you know what I mean? That's a lot of trust because everybody probably expected MJ to take that shot. But the fact that he's been with that guy, he's been in the grind, he believed what he saw, you know what I mean? And he trusted, his teammate to make that play. Yeah. At this point, it's all or nothing. All you can do is try to execute the play. And those are things at this point, you've gone 17, 18 weeks of practice. You know who everybody is at this point. So, like I said, the play is called. All you got to do is dial it up and try to execute it to the best of your ability. But as you said, as Chris Carter, would come to the sideline, him being the number one receiver, him understanding defenses and what they're probably going to do. You got to have a plan A, you got to have plan B, plan C. All those things have to be executed, in order for that play to work. So, yeah, me personally, like I said, I probably would go to the sideline like, yo, give me an opportunity, you know what I mean, based on my body of work and what I've done throughout the course of the season. So that's what it rides on.
So again, speaking of week 18, this is the last week. And of course, all these records, not all, but for example, Cooper Kupp got a triple crown because of the week 18. It's an extra week. There's, I think, a couple sacks. How do you feel about all of these records, or are they records? Should they have an asterisk by them? For the NFL, should they put an asterisk by them? Because now all these records are going to be broken because there's another game. That's a whole other.
I honestly feel like, they should be able to establish, records, with the 18 game season going forward, so wherever they are now, that's where they should start from.
Okay. So the 2021, that's one set of records. And then 2022 is the new set of records for the NFL. So let's keep them.
Yep. They set the standard, for records for an 18 week season. Because like I said, it's inevitable, for records to be broken if you give somebody an extra day, an extra game, you know what I mean? I don't think that's fair to even be factored into the record books. So, but hey, it's not my rules. Yeah. And I think, if you're a realist, you know what I mean? Like me, if it was me, like I wouldn't think that I actually broke a record if somebody gave me an extra game to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I did it
something like that, I think he's like, he of course accepted it, but I think Cooper Kupp was like, yo, this isn't I didn't break the record because I had an extra game. It's like, I respect that. We love Cooper's balling this year. He was doing his thing. Right. He understands. Yeah, I got an extra game. Of course I broke it, but I think he feels the same way.
Now, if you broke those or had those numbers or broke those records, in less games, then okay, you can make those count. Right. You know what I mean? That would be different if he was balling out. You know what I mean? He did it in like in weeks 14, like 15 or 16. Then okay, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's legit.
Tonight's the big game, right? BCS championship game, Indianapolis. We got University of Alabama. We have University of Georgia. I got tons of kids that I coached and trained in high school that are on both teams. I honestly think that it's hard, especially in college and even in the NFL, it's hard to beat a team twice in one season. Therefore, tonight, I'm going with the dogs. Let's go, Georgia. Let's go.
You would. I don't even necessarily. I don't have to say anything. I don't honestly. I don't have to say a word. I don't have to say a word.
Yeah.
Who I'm picking. But the fact that you would just go against the grain like that doesn't really apply. You know what I mean? I get it. You know what I mean? It's hard to beat beat somebody twice. You know what I mean? But you're dealing with Nick Saban. Like you're dealing with Nick Saban and a well-coached Nick Saban team.
And so
I guarantee you, the team that Nick Saban has right now, going into this season with who they lost over the last year or so, the players that went off to the draft, I guarantee you he'll tell you that he wouldn't have thought that they would have the record that they have right now and probably playing for the national championship at the beginning of the season. But because of who he is and his structure, the way he coaches from top down and has these players playing at such an elite level, it's remarkable. And the fact that they're here, and then let me say this. First of all, they're underdogs in this game. 3 weeks ago when they played in the SEC championship, this very same team, they were underdogs as well.
Yes.
And they waxed them. Okay. So I know going into this game that he's not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe. He's gonna have these guys ready. Yes, Mechie is not. Mechie played in the. They got hurt in the SEC championship game. He got hurt, but again, it's always that next man up mentality. You know how it is.
They got plenty of receivers.
They got plenty of guys. They have a guy Williams. They have guys that are stepping up. What's his name? Slade, number 18, senior receiver. Veteran guy. He's going to be one of those guys that are going to have to step up tonight in this game. So I'm not really overly concerned about the whole idea of it's hard to beat hard to beat a team twice. Let me tell you something, man. This is Alabama, man. This is where Alabama is where legends are made, man. Why you think I'm who I am, man? I'm from Alabama, man.
You sound like you're trying to convince yourself.
No, I'm not.
Go Dogs. Let's go, Georgia. What's the bet? What's the bet? What's the bet then? What you want to bet? What you want to bet?
Tide. Road. Let's go, baby.
Georgia, let's do this. Go get that
We'll
W.
see.
National
We'll see. Hey, it's cold. It's cold right here in Indy, but around like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
We're going to warm that thing up.
Oh, it's going to start to heat up in Indianapolis tonight, baby. I'm telling you. You'll see.
Hey, I tell y'all what, world, get your popcorn ready. Georgia, Alabama, BCS championship.